Welcome back to Subul Islam classes. In this session we are going to see control structures in JavaScript. We have seen the fundamentals of JavaScript in last two videos. That is how to write a JavaScript code, how to organize JavaScript code in HTML page, and the way of defining a function, the calling a function, etc. Here in this video we are going to see the control structures in JavaScript. As we know, control structures are used for altering the normal flow of execution of a program. In a program, statements are executed one after another, starting from the first statement and it runs up to the last statement. We know always all statements are not to be executed. We select some statement, we execute those statements, we skip some part of statements, we repeatedly execute some set of statements, etc. So control structures are used for altering the normal flow of execution of a program. The control structures in JavaScript are similar to that of in C++. So control structures are used to change the sequential flow of execution in a program. We have if statement as a branching statement or decision making statement or condition statement. Another form of if is if else. Then one more branching statement, there is switch, which is known as the multiple branching statement. So we shall see all these statements. So if statement has the syntax as shown here. If it has a test expression, that expression is evaluated. On evaluation of that expression, it returns a true or false value. If the result is true, then the statements after the if statement, if structure will be executed. So this is the symbolic. Another form is if with else. It has two parts. If the condition is true or if the test expression is true, then the statement block immediately after that test expression will be executed. Otherwise, if the test expression is false, the block specified after else will be executed. That all we learned in C++. Let us see a simple example to check whether a score is more than 90% or not, or whether it is eligible for A plus score, A plus grade or not. Here we have script tag as we have learned earlier. Then variables named score. We are initializing this score with 95. And here we are making a condition. If score greater than or equal to 90. So here we have already given score as 95. And so that this condition will be true. So if score greater than or equal to 90, this expression will be evaluated as true. So since we get true inside this bracket, this part will be executed. The student got A plus. else document dot write the student got grade below A plus. So this is an example. Let us see how it works. If we have written an example here, see cube data type, if example. So here the student got A plus. A simple JavaScript code here. See the code, and we have written score initialized score as 95. Suppose we are changing this score to some 70. Then this part will be executed. The student got grade below A plus. So we are saving that, minimizing, and this is again execute code. This page is already again opened. So the student got grade below A plus. So in this way we can use if statement. Then we have switch statement in JavaScript, as in the case of C++. Switch is a multi-branching statement, which means depending upon an expression, it is the flow of execution is redirected to many blocks. Using these different program codes can be selected for execution based on the value of an expression. Its syntax is switch, here we give an expression. And it may be a single variable or an expression. Depending upon the value of this expression, we specify some cases here. If the result of the evaluation of this expression is value 1, then these statements will be executed and it will break. If the evaluated expression is not value 1 and it is value 2, then this part will be executed, this part will be omitted, and this part will be executed. In this way, any number of blocks can be, cases can be given in switch. If all the cases becomes false, then we can write a part like this default. What happens if all the above conditions are false? Then this statement will be executed. This is not a mandatory or compulsory part. We can give this also if the programmer wants. Now let us see an example. Example program to print names of fruits on input of numbers. Again, we have not learned how to input values to JavaScript and read those values. So for the time being, we are using some variables here and initializing those variables. Variable d equal to 3. So here value of d is 3. It is already initialized. And switch d. So here value of d is 3, we know d is d. So the case 1 will not be executed, case 2 will not be executed. Oh, sorry, it is already repeated there. Okay, no problem. Case 1, document.one write apple. Case 3, document.write grapes. Case 4, document.write guava. So here the value is 3, so it will print grapes. Otherwise, if it is not 1, if it is not 3, if it is not 4, we will get the result invalid number. So let us see the example here. switch. Here JavaScript variable d equal to 3. So based on d we need to switch. So it is, while execution it checks for 1, it is not 1, it is not 2, not 3, it is 3. So this part will be executed, document.write grapes will be executed. So the output will be grapes. Now let us see the output. So the output is grapes. Now I am going to change this. I am giving 1 for this and saved. So the anticipated output is apple. So let us see. I am going to refresh this. So the output is apple. Now I am going to write 4 here and saving that and refreshing that page. Is Goa. And again I am going to change and give a number 10 here and saving that. Now we expect invalid number. Let us see that invalid number. So in this way we can use switch statement. Now loops. We have learned loops in C++. Loop statements are used for repeatedly executing some parts, some statements, some set of statements in a program. As in the case of C++, here also JavaScript also 3 types of loop statements like for loop, while loop and do while loop. Of these, for and while are entry control loop and do while is exit control loop. So loops are used for executing a set of statements repeatedly. Loop statements are for, while and do while. Now the syntax for loop is for initialization, test expression, update statement. So a loop has 4 components or 4 parts: the control variable initialization part, a test expression part, and update statement. And along with this, the statements that are to be repeated are named as body of loop. So these are the 4 parts. So here all these, in the case of for loop, all these things, initialization, test expression, update statement and statement, body of the loop, all comes within a single statement. So here we have an example program to print multiples of 7. C script language JavaScript variable I, this is the control variable here. It is initialized to 7. It is goes up to 70. Value of I is incremented by 7. I plus equal to 7 means I equal to I plus 7. Document.write I, document.write br. This br for coming to next line. Let us see the output. So here for loop, given this example for example. So the output is 7, 14, 21 and so on. If we take the code, see here I variable, if we want to make this as the multiple of 5. Starting from 5 goes up to 70 and I is incremented by 5. And we are going to save this. Again, the output. See 5, 10, 15, 20, up to 70. Now suppose we want to have a big gap between each and every line. So we are putting 2 BR. See. And we are seeing this. 10, 5, 15, 20, 25 and so on. So this is an example for a JavaScript code which uses for loop. Now while loop. While loop is a simple loop that repeatedly executes a group of statements based on a condition. Again, it evaluates the text expression and the statements will be executed. We have already learned that if the condition is true, this part will be executed. Initialization statement, updation statement, all these are to be put somewhere near to this loop as per the logic of the programmer. Now here we are going to write a program, JavaScript code for printing multiplication table of 19. See, variable A is taken as a counter, prod, it gives the product, A equal to 1, A is initialized, while A less than 10, value of A is 1, if it is less than 10 and the condition is true, it is less than 10 now, it is 1, product equal to A into 9, that is 1 into 19, so this get 19, document.write equal to A plus, means this is concatenation for used for concatenation, the output will be 1 into 19 equal to the product, that is 1 into 19. Then after that we are making a break and a line is drawn between the products which is aligned left. Let us see the code. While see, this is the code that we have seen here. Now let us see the output, how it works. Application table of 19, see 1 into 19, 19, line 2 into 19, 38, again line and so on. How it comes? 1 into 19 equal to 19, then it is repeated, 2 into 19 equal to 38, that continues. Each time a BR is used, that is comes to the next line. HR, as we know, it is used for horizontal line, its width is 100, align, it is to be aligned to the left. Then A++, value of A get incremented, goes up, 2 less than 10, yes, 2 into 19 will be executed and that continues. So in this way we can print the multiplication table of 19. Then the last loop is do while. It is an exit control loop. It will be executed at least once, even if the condition is false. Now let us see some questions from that. To select a group of statements in the program code for execution, dash or dash control steps are used. To do execution of a selected part, we can use if statement as well as switch statement. Give examples for looping statements in JavaScript. For, while, do while. All these three are looping statements. Dash is a multi-branching statement. We know switch is a multi-branching statement. State whether the following statements are true or false. Break statement is used within the switch block. It is true. Break statement is used within the switch block. If we use switch, we will be using break within it at least once. False. It is not mandatory to use break inside. It is not compulsory to use break inside a switch statement. If the programmer wants, he can use it. Otherwise, he can avoid it. So, using break at least once in a switch statement, that is not compulsory, so the statement is false. All the program codes written in if else can be replaced using switch. All the codes written in if else can be replaced by using switch. That statement is false. If else statement is more flexible than switch statement. So all the statements that are written in using if else cannot be replaced with switch. So that statement is false. All the program codes written in switch can be replaced using if else. If the answer is true, we can write any code written using switch statement using if statement, if else statement. And the vice versa is not true. What is the difference between for loop and while loop? For statement has initialization, condition checking, updation, and body of loop parts with the statement itself. But while statement has only condition checking as part of it. All the four parts, initialization, condition checking, updation, and body parts, are available together with the for structure. But for while, we have only condition checking, initialization, updation, all these are to be done somewhere else. So these are for this session. We have learned control structures in JavaScript. Control structures in JavaScript are similar to that of C++. We have branching statement or decision making statement, as well as loop statements or iteration statement. If else, switch are decision making or branching statements. If statement is more flexible than switch statement. All the statements that are written using switch can be implemented using if else statement. Switch is a multiple branching statement or multi-branching statement. Then we have loops, which are used for repeatedly execute some statements, some set of statements. We have three loop statements in JavaScript like for, while, and do while. Out of these three, for and while are entry control loop, and do while is exit control loop. For is little bit different from do while and while statement because for statement structure has provision for initialization, updation, and condition checking along with its body available in the for structure itself. So that's all for this session. Thank you.